Good morning, students. Good morning, 8th standard. Once again, all of you welcome in history period. Okay, today we are going to see this. We are going to revise the lesson number 3, that is effects of the British rule. Okay, let us see the summary of this lesson, and then we will write extra fill in the blanks. Right? Okay. Lesson number 3, effects of the British rule. Power struggle. All the European powers, including Portuguese, Dutch, French, and British, entered the race for capturing Indian market. Okay, यानी सब में क्या लगी थी? Competitions लगी थी. किस बात की competition? Capturing Indian market पे कब्जा करना. Initially, Portuguese gave bitter resistance to the British, but later they developed friendly relation. पहले पोर्तुगीज ने अपोज किया किसे? ब्रिटिश को, लेकिन बाद में उनमें फ्रेंडली रिलेशंस डेवलप हो गए. ब्रिटिशर्स हैड टू फेस अपोजिशन फ्रॉम फ्रेंच, डच एंड मेनी लोकल रूलर्स. ब्रिटिशर्स को बहुत सारे लोगों का अपोजिशन सहना पड़ा, जैसे कि फ्रेंच, डच और मेनी लोकल रूलर्स, यानी जो राजे छोटे छोटे स्टेट से वहां के जो राजे थे उनका भी उनको विरोध सहना पड़ा. नाउ ब्रिटिश एंड मराठास. Entry of the British. Marathas had a strong hold on the areas in and around Mumbai, which was prime center of British in Western India. Britishers tried to acquire nearby territories, but the Maratha checked their expansion. It was only after the death of Peshwa Madhav Rao that they got entry in Maratha politics. Raghunath Rao, in his greed for the seat of Peshwaship, sought help of the British. देखो ये जो थे ना माधवराव पेशवे, he was very brave and courageous, dashing personality. It was only after the death of Peshwa माधवराव पेशवे के मृत्यु के बाद में ही मराठा पॉलिटिक्स में ब्रिटिशर्स को एंट्री मिली. Okay, with the help of Raghunath Rao Peshwe, he was uncle of Madhavrao Peshwe, they entered in Maratha politics. Why? Because the greed for the seat of पेशवेशिप यानी पेशवा पद पाने के लिए रघुनाथ राव पेशवे ने अंग्रेजों से हाथ मिलाया. ठीक है. फर्स्ट एंग्लो मराठा वॉर. 3 wars were fought between Marathas and the British during 1774 to 1818. As the Maratha fought unitedly, the British were defeated in the first Anglo-Maratha War. It concluded with Treaty of Salbhai in 1872. याद रखना, सालभाई की ट्रीटी कब हुई? 1872. Now, second Anglo-Maratha War. ये first Anglo-Maratha War था. Now, second Anglo-Maratha War. In 1802, Bajirao II or Bajirao II entered into subsidiary alliance with the British by the Treaty of Westminster. The second Anglo-Maratha War took place as some Maratha Sardars opposed the treaty. Marathas were defeated in the war. Maratha क्यों हार गए? क्योंकि कुछ मराठा सरदार जो थे उन्होंने अपना पूरा कंट्रीब्यूशन बैटलफील्ड में नहीं दिया. ठीक है. They opposed the treaty. Now, third Anglo-Maratha War. The defeat of the Marathas led to the increase in interference of British in Maratha state. Interference यानी क्या? Interference यानी हस्तक्षेप करना. Bajirao II declared war against the British as he could not tolerate their interference. He was defeated in this war and surrendered in 1818. Now, ये जो थर्ड वार हुआ, थर्ड एंग्लो मराठा वार हुआ, उसमें ये जो बाजीराव सेकंड थे उनको ये पसंद नहीं था कि ब्रिटिशर्स उनके काम में दखलंदाजी कर रहे हैं, बीच में कर रहे हैं, इसलिए उन्होंने युद्ध छेड़ा, लेकिन वो हार गए और बाद में उनको शरण आ गए. ठीक है. सरेंडर यानी क्या? शरण आ गए. 1818. नाउ दौलत राव शिंदे. The capital of Mughals was under the control of Daulat Rao Shinde. General Lake defeated and captured him. Now the subsidiary alliance. In 1798, Governor General Lord Wellesley Subsidiary alliance यानी सहायक नीति. In 1798, Governor General Lord Wellesley, with a view to bring the whole of India under the British rule, introduced the subsidiary alliance. He entered into treaties with many Indian rulers, whereby assurance of military assistance was given by the British. यानी उन्होंने क्या किया? उन्होंने एक एग्रीमेंट किया. ट्रीटी यानी क्या? एग्रीमेंट. उन्होंने क्या एग्रीमेंट किया? बहुत सारे इंडियन रूलर्स के साथ, वेयर बाय एश्योरेंस ऑफ मिलिट्री असिस्टेंस, यानी अगर जरूरत पड़ती है तो वो छोटे छोटे जो स्टेट्स हैं उनको मिलिट्री की हेल्प प्रोवाइड करेंगे. ठीक है. द कंडीशंस ऑफ सब्सिडरी अलायंस देखिए, लेकिन उसमें भी क्या थे? कुछ कंडीशंस थे. इंडियन रूलर शुड कीप द ब्रिटिश आर्मी इन देयर कोर्ट टेरिटोरी, यानी अपने दरबार में इंडियन जो राज्य थे वो अपने दरबार में ब्रिटिश आर्मी को रखेंगे. ठीक है. दे वेयर टू पे द कंपनी टुवर्ड्स द मेंटेनेंस ऑफ दिस फोर्सेस इन कैश और सेट और a part of that territory, giving equivalent amount of revenue. Bapre. And the rulers would not have alliance or go to war with other powers without the mediation of the British, and the ruler should accept a British resident in their states. Those Indian rulers who accepted these conditions lost their freedom. Now, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh. Even though Peshwaship came to an end, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh ruled from Satara. British rulers appointed Grand Duke to assist him in the state affairs. पेशवाशिप जाने के बाद में, यानी खत्म होने के बाद में, समाप्त होने के बाद में छत्रपति प्रताप सिंह सातारा के राजे बन गए. ठीक है. ब्रिटिश ने उनको ब्रिटिश रूलर्स अपॉइंटेड. ब्रिटिश रूलर्स ने क्या किया? अपना एक वकील वहां पे छोड़ के आए जो स्टेट अफेयर्स का काम करेगा. उसका नाम था ग्रैंड डक. He was dethroned and exiled to Kashi. Then next, where he died in 1847. His loyal officer Rango Bapuji Gupte fought legal battle and went up to England but was unsuccessful. Lord Dalhousie rejected the adoption policy and in 1848 annexed the state of Satara. और ये जो था कौन? लॉर्ड डलहौसी. उसने दस्तक विधान कैंसिल किया और ये जो राज्य था वो सातारा का, वो उन्होंने जोड़ दिया अपने प्रदेश से. ठीक है. नाउ वर्क डन बाय छत्रपति प्रताप सिंह. कौन सा काम किया है छत्रपति प्रताप सिंह ने जो सातारा के राजे थे? वाटर टैंक वाज बिल्ट ऑन बैक साइड ऑफ योतेश्वर टेम्पल एंड महादरबा विच सप्लाइड वाटर टू सातारा सिटी. ही बिल्ड रोड्स एंड प्लांटेड ट्रीज ऑन बोथ द साइड्स. संस्कृत, मराठी एंड इंग्लिश वाज टॉट टू गर्ल्स एंड बॉयज इन स्कूल्स. प्रिंटिंग प्रेस वाज सेट अप एंड मेनी बुक्स वर पब्लिश्ड. अ बुक टाइटल Sabhaniti was printed on polity in 1827. A road connecting Satara on Mahabaleshwar to Pratapgarh was built by him, which was further extended to Mahad. Now, effects of system acts introduced by the British on India. Serial number 1, system. उन्होंने कौन सा सिस्टम लाया? ब्रिटिशर्स ने ड्यूल गवर्नमेंट. ओके. System of dual government was introduced by Robert Clive in Bengal in 1765, where the East India Company took over the revenue collection and the maintenance of peace and order was left with the Nawab of Bengal. कितने बदमाश थे देखो. The officers of the company pocketed land revenue. As monopoly of trade was given to East India Company, its governance was criticized in England. So British Parliament passed some important laws to control it. Now Regulating Act. This act designated the governor of Bengal as the Governor General. Lord Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India. He controlled powers over the Bombay and Maratha and Madras presidencies. It provided a council of 4 members to assist him. Okay. Then Pitt's Act, India Act. A board of control was constituted to regulate and manage affairs of East India Company in India. The board was authorized to issue directives to the company regarding the governance of India. In 1813, 1833 and 1853, new laws were passed by the parliament to change the working of the company. Okay. Now, pillars of British administration in India. Number 1, the civil services. Number 2, the military. Number 3, the police forces. And number 4, the judicial system. Okay. Now, merits and defects in judicial system. Merits यानी plus points and defects यानी faults minus points. Okay, a committee under the leadership of Lord Macaulay enforced Indian Penal Code all over British rule in India. It was based on the British principle of equality before law. And defects, there were separate laws and courts for the Europeans. Common people did not understand the new laws, and justice was very expensive and time consuming as cases remain pending for years. Okay. Now, economic policies of the British. Many invaders settled in India and were absorbed in Indian culture. They did not make any changes in the basic Indian economic system. Capitalist economy prevailed in England due to industrial revolution. The British inculcated an economic system in India which favored the economic system in England. Due to this, British gained economic benefit for India, faced economic exploitation. Now, land revenue policy. The village economic system in India was self-sufficient before the British rule. हमारे जो संस्कृति थी विलेज यानी तो विलेज इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम जो थी वो क्या थी, स्वयंपूर्ण थी, सेल्फ सफिशिएंट थी ब्रिटिशर्स के आने से पहले. The needs of the village were fulfilled through agriculture and related services. Land revenue was the main source of income of the state, and before the British rule, the land revenue was assessed according to the type of the crop and was controlled in the form of grains, was waived with the crop paid, and the land was not confiscated. Confiscated यानी जब्त करना if there was delay in payment of tax. ये हमारा था. अभी ब्रिटिशर्स का देखते हैं पॉलिसी इन द ब्रिटिश पीरियड. The British made a number of changes in the existing system to increase the revenue, which included Britishers ने क्या किया, रेवेन्यू बढ़ाने के लिए कुछ पॉलिसी में चेंजेस किए. Tax was fixed on the basis of area. Payment of revenue in cash within the prescribed time limit. एक तो उन्होंने टैक्स फिक्स किया एरिया वाइज. दूसरा उन्होंने क्या किया, रेवेन्यू जो था ना, पेमेंट ऑफ रेवेन्यू इन कैश विद इन द प्रिस्क्राइब्ड टाइम लिमिट, यानी उतने जितना समय आपको दिया गया है उतने समय में आप अपने टैक्स रेवेन्यू भरना ही चाहिए. कॉन्फिस्केशन ऑफ लैंड इन केस ऑफ द फेल्यूर टू पे रेवेन्यू इन टाइम. अगर कोई फेल हो जाता है रेवेन्यू देने में तो उसकी लैंड जो थी वो जब्त की जाएगी. एंड सिस्टम ऑफ कोलेशन differed from region to region. All these led to the exploitation of the farmers. Now, effects or consequences of the land revenue system. Farmers were forced to sell their produce to the merchants and middlemen at a low price in order to pay revenue. Farmers mortgaged land and become indebted to money lenders. They were forced to sell land to pay debt, so they became bankrupt. The farmers were exploited by the government, landlords, merchants, and money lenders. Now, commercialization of agriculture. Initially, farmers used to cultivate food grains to fulfill domestic need as well as need of the village. Okay. The British government gave encouragements to cash crops like indigo, cotton, tobacco, tea, etc. The shift from cultivation of food grains to profit-giving cash crops is described as commercialization of agriculture. Now, famines. Many serious famines took place in period 1860 to 1900 in India. The British rulers did not take adequate measures to overcome the famine situation. They did not spend enough money on irrigation projects. Now, development in transport and communication system. For the convenience of administration and to increase trade, the British developed transport and communication in India. The first train plied between Mumbai and Thane in 1853. Telegraph system connected major cities and military stations in 1853. Okay, the British introduced the postal services. They had long-term impact on the social life of the Indians. These developments generated a sense of unity among the people of India. Okay. Now decline of traditional industries. अब हमारे जो traditional industries थी वो decline क्यों हुए, यानी उनका ह्रास क्यों हुआ? The British government levied heavy duty on Indian goods exported to England, and very less important import duty was imposed on the factory-made goods imported from England. Okay. Due to machines, large-scale production of goods in England was sold at low price. Indian artisans found it difficult to compete with the cheap imported machines made goods. Due to this, traditional industries closed down and the artisans lost livelihood. Okay. Now next one is that development of new industries in India. बाद में क्या हुआ? नई इंडस्ट्रीज सेटअप की गई कहाँ पे? इंडिया में. In spite of lack of support from the British government and compounded with lack of experiences and management experiences, Indian businessmen were able to build their business, though they were few in numbers. Okay, Kawajin Nonbai Davar started first cotton mill, textile mill in Mumbai in 1853. Okay, first jute mill was started at Rishra in Bengal, 1855. Jamshedji Tata started the first steel plant, the Tata Iron and Steel Company at Jamshedpur in 1907. Okay. And coal, metal, sugar, cement and chemical industries also developed gradually. उसके बाद में social and cultural effect and then laws for reformation and the last one is educational reforms. English education was introduced in India on the recommendations of Lord Macaulay in 1835. Indians were introduced to Western thoughts, modern reforms, science, and technologies. Universities at Mumbai, Madras, and Kolkata were established in 1857. The Western educated middle class led the social reform movements in India. Okay, here our summary of this lesson is over, and now we have to write extra fill in the blanks. Okay, and then afterwards we also have the work to complete answer in one sentence as well as complete the concept chart and explain the following concept and write extra question answers in 25 to 30 words. Okay, but now let's start with fill in the blanks. Okay, start making. Fill in the blanks जो है your homework is okay. This is your homework. Try to solve it at home, and in the next period I will just tell you answer. Okay. Dash was the main center dash was the main center of British in Western India. Number 2 was the main center with the Treaty of in 1872. The first Anglo-Maratha War came to an end. Then number 3. Fill in the blanks. Number 3. In 1848, Lord Dalhousie rejected the adoption policy and annexed the state of number 4 started first textile mill in 1853 at Mumbai. And last one, the first jute mill was set up and dash in Bengal. Okay, students, this is your homework. This is your homework. Okay, try to solve it. Tomorrow I will tell you the answer. Okay, and now the time period is over. Bye bye. Take care.